Big day and welcome to another big edition of the BFNL Footy Show. Thanks to McDonald's Ballarat. My name's Yeendy. I'm joined by Shane Anwyl, the operations manager of the BFNL. Looking back on last weekend, mate, certainly a big weekend in more ways than one.
Yeah, it was, yes. There was a lot going on last weekend and some great games of football, and netball probably wasn't so much the talking point out of last week.
Oh, we'll address that on the first, mate. Of course, we're talking about the action here at Mars City Oval between Redan and Lake Windaree, where the lights went out with about 3 minutes and 1 second to go. There was 13 points of margin in favour of the Lakers at that stage of the game on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Redan were on the way, apparently, from what I hear. I wasn't at the game, but it was disappointing that the lights went out. But that it really was one of those situations that I think certainly doesn't detract from all the good work the City of Ballarat have done for City Oval here. It's a fantastic facility now. The money that they've put into it, it's just unfortunate. It's got no pun intended, but overshadowed by the incident that's happened Saturday night with the lights. But council, they're as disappointed as anyone, but we have to give them credit for everything else that they've done here. It doesn't take away from the fantastic surface and facilities. So they're working hard to have it rectified for next week and have some plans in place. There is another night game, of course. Redan taking on Ballarat here on Saturday night again. So we'll see how the things pan out for the rest of the week and what happens on Saturday.
And with the game itself as well, it was a nice physical, hard contest played between two sides that are looking to try and build some form heading into the 2018 season. And Lake Windaree led for all the night, for most of the night itself, and the margin, it wasn't too much separated in two sides at three-quarter time, and then Lake Windaree kicked two quick goals, and that's where they sort of put the margin out. Other than that sort of period, it was a really good, hard, physical contest.
Yeah, and that's what we'd like to see. Look, both clubs certainly wanted the win. We're only at round 2, obviously, or round 3 now. But, look, they're both really keen to get that win and get their season kicked off, certainly. Yeah,
it's simply magnificent there. Now, there were some other great games that took place, and it all started down at the Clark Oval between Sunbury Lions and Darley. It was only 12 months ago where both teams played at Clark Oval, and Sunbury led all day, and Darley won by a point. In this case here, Darley led for a lot of the game, led up to the final minute, and then Grant Valles kicked the goal in the dying moments to get the Lions over the line in a great contest.
Yeah, look, any game that's a 1 point margin at the end there is always going to be a good result for the winning club, obviously. The losing club, Darley, they're a little bit disappointed, obviously, to lose in such a manner. But well done to Sunbury on a good win, and they'll take a lot out of that for sure.
They're certainly up and about this time of year, mate. I think 3 wins from as many games, and they've beaten some good opposition as well. While Darley, that's their second loss in as many weeks. They're showing some vulnerabilities, which I think is good because they had a similar stage last year where they had a bit of a tough run and then they had a good run towards finals. So they have the capacity to really bounce back. And Sunbury Lions, like a lot of people have written them off in the off-season with all the big losses, but they've surprised a few, and I don't think they'd be surprised internally because they're doing a magnificent job.
Yeah, well, I guess the main point is we're at round 3, aren't we? Yeah. So, there's a lot of football to go before we get to the end of the season. Sunbury are going along quite nicely, and Darley, they've got plenty of time ahead of them to do what we know Darley does.
Exactly right there, mate. Now, another classic that went down to the wire. East Point 85 defeating Melton 83. And Melton had a shot with less than a minute to go, and it was touched off the boot, went through for a point, so it cut the margin from 3 to 2. And Bryce and McDougall held on for a strong mark late in the term, in the dying stages, to basically get the Kangaroos up and about. So they are really up and about. They're making amends for not making finals last year with some great performances.
Yeah, they are, and there's been a lot of talk about East Point with, pardon me, all of their recruits coming in, and they're looking to be a strong side. Melton have been up and about already very early this season, and they've been one of the form teams. So for East Point to get that win, and a close win too, they'll build a lot out of that. That's a great win for the club, and keeps things going along the ladder quite even. So it's just all boding well for a good, consistent season.
Definitely right there, mate. Another big game which went a little bit one-sided. I don't think too many people predicted that one. It was Bacchus Smash. Big winners over North Ballarat City by over 15 goals. City had shown some great form in the early parts of this season. Bacchus Smash hadn't won a game this year and went down to Darley by a point in a classic in round 1. They've bounced back after the bye with a really commanding performance.
Yeah, it was exactly right, Chris. Very commanding. I think when you look at who's tipped the game, it was probably 50-50 with this one. I think everyone expected North City probably to be a little bit closer. The margin, well, I think, was the surprise out of the game to people. Bacchus Marsh, when you look at it, yeah, fair enough. Bacchus Marsh won the game and it's probably where you thought the result would be. But I think to win by, 80, 90 odd points, that was a big margin and probably a big statement as well.
Exactly, that's the important thing, because they've got some big games coming up over the next few weeks, and it's important for them to get the big statement wins there. Ballarat are on the board for 2018 after a big win on Sunday afternoon football over Sebastopol. Scores were level 3-2 each at quarter time before the Swannies. They're up and about. They sawed away after quarter time to record a famous victory for them, and really big by them too.
Yeah, well done to the Swannies. They really wanted to get that first win on the board, which they have done. Bad luck to Sebas there, because they've shown some good form against quality opposition the last couple of weeks. As you said, three goals, 2 at quarter time. So Sebas kicked 6 goals to Ballarat's 15 after quarter time. So Ballarat really put the foot down and put it away there. So a great win to them. Well done to Ballarat. They'll take a lot out of it. It's the win they needed. And Sebas, we keep saying they're thereabouts. They'll come back. They'll have another go as well.
Yeah, definitely will. Well, they've got the bye for this week, and then they've got the interleague weekend, so that'll give them an opportunity just to sort of freshen up, get some exercise into the kids, and sort of work forward into building it to the next stage of the season. Shane, thanks so much for joining us on looking back on round 3 of the Ballarat Football Netball League. Thanks to Ballarat McDonald's. We look forward to catching up with you later on in the week.
Pleasure as always.